Okay, so today I want to talk to you about The Heiress of Linn Hagh, by the author that I've never read before, Charlton. Now, this is actually part of the series called the Detective Lavender Mysteries. I actually listened to this, I audiobooked this. So if you're looking for audiobooks, that's an option. It is on Kindle format, which is how I read it. I listen to it most of the time. And I love this book. Like, I'm normally when I do a review, I'm like, need to find something negative to say. And I have found one, but it's so ridiculous. It's kind of a bit silly. But, so what is this about? The Heiress of Linn Hagh. It is a classic detective novel. Now, anyone who kind of recommends detective novels is, you know, there's always one detective, particularly a detective duo, which this is, because Detective Lavender has his trusty Woods assisting him. And Lavender and Woods is a duo. It's automatic. People are going to be like, oh, are they like Sherlock and Watson? And the only way I can answer that is yes. Yes, they are a lot like Sherlock and Watson. But it's not a bad thing. It's done so well. The things that I liked about this book is much like that kind of dynamic you have between Woods and Lavender being a little cliched. You have a lot of very stereotypical characters in this. You have gruff farmers and exotic, mysterious outlaw women and highway bandits, and you have all of these characters which in novels kind of always appear the same way. And there's something very comforting about that when you're reading this. You're like, oh, it feels familiar, it feels comforting. It's all those things you want from a novel. However, what it also does is makes these characters very detailed, very intricate, they are not just two-dimensional. It takes those very kind of typical, comforting, almost cliched character types that we know, but makes them real, gives them real personalities. They all have real depth of character, and that as a combination makes this such a nice book to read. The other thing is, with all detective style books, they live and die by how good the plot is and how predictable it is, and this one really genuinely isn't. There are so many twists and turns on this that I did not see it coming. Like, I couldn't guess the way this ended at all. Now, the premise of it, the Heiress of Linn Hagh, is a young heiress who mysteriously disappears from a locked bed chamber. Like, literally, door bolted from the inside, completely disappears into thin air. And, you know, there's a lot of, is she dead? Is she alive? Has she ran away? Was she taken against her will? There is no clues to this. There doesn't appear to be when he first arrives. Another big plus point for me on this book is where it's set. It's set in North Norfolk, Northumberland. Actually in an area that I used to live in not long ago. That has some brilliant memories for me. So I'm a little bit biased about the book purely because of that, because I'm reading it and I'm like, oh, I know, you know, there's that kind of extra sense of feeling involved in the book from my point of view. Now, I said there was one negative about this book, and it's actually specifically about the audiobook. And it's one of the main places in the book is a town called Bellingham, or it should be pronounced Bellingham. In the audiobook, it's pronounced Bellingham. And I was just like, no, there is no Bellingham, it's Bellingham or Bellingham, not Bellingham. So yeah, that is the one negative I can find about this book. However, even taking that, you know, leaving that minor thing aside, genuinely this book, it was fast paced, it was unpredictable, and it managed to be all of those lovely, comforting, familiar characters we see in pretty much every classic detective novel, but developed and actualized in a very modern, very well developed, intricate character way, which is very rare to see, and it was very well done in this book. There are many more books in the Detective Lavender Mystery series. I haven't read them yet, but I'm going to. Unfortunately, I don't think any of the other ones are set up in North Northumberland, because I would already be reading them if they were. But they are set, there's quite a few set in London, and I believe there's a few others set in other counties. So it does cover a wide area of the UK. But yeah, brilliant book, incredibly well done. And if you just want something as a bit of escapism, that's an easy read, but at the same time fast-paced and interesting, this is what you want to look for. So yeah, The Heiress of Linn Hagh by Karen Charlton, part of the Detective Lavender Mysteries. I 100% recommend.